Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective. So the Cowboys competed yesterday. I apologize for getting the recap out late, but we're here now. It's gonna be a fun week, double bye week. So we're doing a lot of content on the channel. Make sure y'all come through, listen to my thoughts. If you enjoy them, want to see more updates, like the video, helps us grow, and make sure you subscribe and get all the latest updates and when I drop a video and when we do our live chats. Lives will be coming. So my worlds cross since I'm, a Cowboys fan as well as a Texas Longhorn fan. And with Garrett Gilbert, I was going to actually do a video, but I wasn't sure if he was going to be a starter until like Saturday, I think, when they dropped it or when they announced it, and I was at downtown at the game. So Garrett Gilbert is back in my life. And, 10 years ago, coming off of his entry, replacing an injured Colt McCoy in the national championship game, we are all excited for his young promise and 5-star recruit, Lake Travis champion, Gatorade player of the year, the whole nine, every all world recruit, right? And was a complete failure here at Texas for many reasons, whether you want to blame Mac Brown or Garrett Gilbert, his dad, whoever, Greg Davis. There's a lot of people that are responsible, not just solely Garrett Gilbert, but Garrett Gilbert was the one who was playing for his hometown team and was unceremoniously booed off the field, and we never got to see him again. And graduates in a short period of time, goes to SMU, plays well enough to, get drafted, gets in the league, wins a ring with the Patriots on the bench, goes to AAF with Steve Spurrier, perseveres because adversity, losing, understanding how to deal with losing and what to take away from it, all of that reveals character, builds character, and Garrett Gilbert has a lot of that. And I think that's a big reason why you saw him play the way he played against the Pittsburgh Steelers, the only undefeated team in the NFL, an outstanding Steelers team this year, now 8-0 as they beat us 24-19. But the Cowboys were competitive and they got off to a good start. They got up in the lead. They were able to start moving the ball again, starting to get all of their weapons and playmakers involved. They looked competent. Kellen Moore thought he did a phenomenal job considering what he's working with and getting the new quarterback ready against an aggressive defense. A defense that does throw a lot at you with some great players like TJ Watt and Cam Hayward and Minka Fitzpatrick and Joe Hayden. And the Cowboys navigated it very, very well. Very, very well. And so I thought it was an exceptional job. I don't know who's blowing me up right now, but they did an exceptional job on all three phases of the game with what they have to work with to compete. Because the last few weeks, it hasn't been watchable since Dak Prescott was on the cart against the Giants. It just hasn't even been watchable. They haven't been competitive. And that's with Andy Dalton. That's with the Nooch. And now with at least Garrett Gilbert, it was fun because I'm like, and I tweeted this yesterday, it's like, this is the version of Garrett Gilbert that Mac Brown in Texas thought they were getting in 2010. So not that he was all world or anything like that, but he was competent and he played well. And he allowed us to be competitive. And one of the reasons why they did that, and I'm glad, because I'm starting with the quarterback, I'm going quarterback heavy, but we'll break down the whole game. My reasoning behind this, because there was some debate whether or not the Cowboys should start Cooper Rush or Garrett Gilbert. We knew Nooch was out after we saw the Philadelphia game. Thank you for your service. We saw everything we needed to see. We will be moving forward in another direction. I'm not going to disrespect the man the way Ben Rogers did on Twitter, but I'm also not going to say I couldn't disagree with what Ben had to say. So we'll just leave Nooch there, and hopefully he can get some reps in the preseason and run it back next year. As for Cooper Rush, he comes in. He's been, the primary backup the last couple years, knows the offense. My issue with playing Cooper Rush, because I'm trying to win, my issue with playing Cooper Rush is skill set wise, there's really not much there. If there was anything there skill set wise, he would have started that Philadelphia game last year when Dak had the issue with the AC joint. That's what you have with Cooper Rush. And you saw in the preseason that game against Arizona Cardinals where he got to start and he was a disaster. Or you go Garrett Gilbert, who, as much as he's been in the NFL, he's been a journeyman and hasn't played much at all either. Just got here, was off somebody's practice squad, the whole bit. The thing that Garrett Gilbert gives you is what I'm talking about with the Texas stuff. When you have the guy who at least was a 5-star and is 6'4" and 230, he has tools. He's got a good arm. He's got size. He can, short intermediate accuracy is pretty good. When things are clean, he can throw the football. And the biggest thing for me was what you saw with Nooch. Dalton was bad at this, and Cooper Rush, when I've seen him play, the fear to try to push the ball downfield, especially when things are clean or coming off play action and really trying to drive it down and stop trying to go immediately to their checkdowns. Garrett Gilbert actually was aggressive in manner of taking his shots and really, really trying to push the ball downfield. I don't want anybody in there because that's where we just start getting blown out, and defenses can do whatever they want when we take our own weapons out the game without even trying to target them and get them involved. But overall, I thought Garrett handled himself well. And I personally think he earned the right to start after the bye week. I think we play Minnesota next after the bye. But the Cowboys announced today that Andy Dalton, according to Stephen Jones, is going to remain the starting quarterback when he clears COVID protocol. So, I guess that's just your unofficial tank season announcement, which I'm sure makes a lot of people happy. And look, I don't ever condone tanking because I think losing mentality builds bad habits, and I think that can sink into your football team especially with a brand new coaching staff that is trying to build culture. I don't think it's good for your culture when you try to tank. That's why I mess with Brian Flores in Miami so hard, because he was against that and went against the grain last year and was like, I'm gonna do what I can to win. Did it hurt them draft wise, whatever? They still ended up with Tua. So I believe good fortune favors the bold, and those who are actually trying to win, you'll be rewarded. Now, with that being said, with this loss, the Cowboys are 2-7. They sit now, I believe, the third, only behind Jacksonville and the New York Jets, who are playing tonight. So, tank season is alive and well, because who's to say that the Joneses and the coaching staff, I know the coaches are trying to win, but the Joneses look at this and say, you know what? Garrett Gilbert might mess around and win a couple games. If he can do that against, right now, the one of the best defenses in the undefeated team in the NFL, and we still have all these games against people in our division, I don't know. Maybe we go the other way. So that is something to I thought I cut the sound off on this stuff. My bad, guys. It's funny when you don't even know how to turn the volume down on your phone. I feel like an old man. But when you look at the tanking decision and discussion, Andy Dalton wasn't competitive when he was in there, and the guys weren't fighting for him, and he wasn't pushing the ball down the field. So I don't know what more they want to see, especially when you've been looking for that spark. And I think you got that spark. Even that's the other thing about tools, right? Like Garrett Gilbert athletically, was able to move. I think he's more mobile than any option you have. He can actually run and get you a few yards, right? And so it's perplexing. But for the people that are just outright, I want to tank, I don't care about the culture stuff that you just said, Steve, let's go ahead and put Andy, you might as well put Nucci in there again, right? And so that's the path we're headed down. But I just want to see it play out organically. The way this game occurred, did the Steelers come in and take us somewhat lightly? Probably. That's human nature, especially when you're looking at the records. We've seen good teams this year get out to slow starts, but eventually they clean up. And the reason why the Steelers, there's a few reasons why they're able to win the game. They're an excellent team, well coached. They're able to get themselves out of situations. Ben Roethlisberger was battling some things with the knees. and still was able to come in and will the team, help the team get to victory, especially when defensively we actually shut down the run. They only ran for 46 yards as a team. But the coaches, is as much praise as I give to our staff led by Mike McCarthy for having the team up and ready to play and good game plans at all three levels. I was very disappointed. I think it costs your team games when you decide playing a team like this to kick the ball on 4th and inches twice. Now I know one of them was he's at his own 30. You're 2-6. Who cares? Go for it. I mean, I don't know if it's because Joe Looney came in and replaced Tyler Biotish. Tyler Biotish got hurt during warmups. I'm not sure what it is, but just the unwillingness to go. And it was like both situations were like literally an inch. You could just lean forward. And Tony Romo's going crazy on the broadcast because he's trying, he has that mindset. Like I'm trying to win the football game and I can't win kicking. I can't win playing field position like that. Like I got to be aggressive in those situations. I can't win. The second one was even more egregious because you're in plus situation, you're in a plus territory and you're kicking the field goal to go up 10 and you're like happy about it. Going up 19-9. I'm like, that is not enough. You got to try to go up 2 touchdowns. You got to put as much pressure. You got to get points on the board. Your team has struggled to score since 4 was on that cart and left. You've scored 2 touchdowns since Dak Prescott got injured. And yes, Garrett Gilbert, I was impressed. See the beginning of this video. Still score 1 touchdown yesterday. You kick 4 field goals. You can't settle for those things. And does them getting the first down guarantee that they go on to score a touchdown? Who knows? They could get called for holding or whatever. I think Garrett Gilbert deserves credit and Kellen Moore for managing Cam Irving at left tackle, Terrence Steele being rolled out there against TJ Watt, and Garrett Gilbert as a quarterback. And then on top of that, I just mentioned Joe Looney coming in last minute to start for Biotish. So a lot of moving pieces there. They did a good job with the game plan, getting the ball out, but also still being able to take their shots and letting some plays downfield develop because he managed the pocket very, very well. With all that being said, still 1 touchdown yesterday. So when you have those opportunities, Mike McCarthy, you got to go for it. I'm not going to get mad at you in terms of the decision if you go for it on 4th and inch and you don't get it. Now, my frustration will go towards Joe Philbin, the offensive line, or Kellen Moore in the play call. But you're now on the hook when you decide to kick like that and be ultra conservative, and then you turn around and you come up short on the scoreboard at the end of the game against a really, really good football team. The good teams are going for it in those situations. Case closed because they're trying to win. So, again, culture thing, trying to build that up. The receivers were alive again. It was good to see CeeDee Lamb back a part of the football team. Michael Gallup, Amari Cooper, they were live weapons, right? And so, the value you see there, speaking of Dak, right? Like the thing with Dak, people always want to talk about, he has all these unbelievable weapons and anybody should be able to ride with that. When you have a lot of weapons and a lot of mouths to feed, that's actually a unique challenge within itself as a quarterback, keeping everyone involved and engaged in playing for you, competing, all those things. Dak Prescott was actually doing that brilliantly. All these guys were on track to get their numbers. They were all on track before he got hurt to get over 1,000 yards receiving, on top of Dalton Schultz having a career season, on top of our running backs getting catches out of the backfield. And secondary guys like a Cedric Wilson or a Noah Brown were making huge plays whenever they came in because everybody was live when 4 was here. But you look at the last few weeks before Garrett Gilbert stepped in, even our primary weapons weren't live. So now, when Dalton was in there, nobody was eating. Nobody's getting their numbers. Nucci's in there, you're definitely not getting your numbers. See Amari Cooper. At least with Garrett Gilbert back in there, you start to see the uptick, at least with the primary guys. CeeDee Lamb's a big part of it. Can't fumble the rock there, but we'll live with the growing pains as he's developing and one of the dynamic talents in an unbelievable wide receiver class that we're seeing right now. Amari Cooper's back. Michael Gallup, we saw him flash at the end of the game, but it's hard to feed all these guys, and that's something that Dak did, and I don't think he gets enough credit for. when he was here. But Jones actually provided a good update on his health. Said he's ahead of schedule, so that's encouraging to hear. And this is why I'm also like, I want to see more Garrett Gilbert, my man Double G, so we can develop that backup position, because I don't know if Andy Dalton's going to be here next year. Let's go to the defense. Defense played well for the most part. They really, really did. First off, in the run game, the energy is better with people with the lazy people like Dontari Poe out of your building. They've moved on from Everson Griffin. They traded him to the Lions. I thought Randy Gregory, great job. Randy Gregory is just a better fit for what Mike Malone wants to do and how we want to be, and his skill set is just more favorable than Everson Griffin. I think Everson Griffin's still a good player. He just can't play in this type of defense. He's not as effective in this type of defense as opposed to Randy Gregory, who's comfortable standing up, can play out of multiple stances. It's long, and just natural, burst off the line of scrimmage, fresh legs. You're seeing all that with Randy Gregory, and credit to him for being in great shape coming back after not playing football for such a long time. So he definitely deserves that. Neville Gallimore, fantastic effort. Very encouraging to see that from, guys that you pick. We picked him in third, fourth round, right? So Neville Gallimore coming in violent. That's what I saw him do to Zach Shackelford at Texas. So seeing Neville Gallimore being in there and getting those reps, very, very valuable. Very, very valuable. I think he can be better than where Malik Collins got to, honestly. I really do see that. Antoine Woods, just better football player than Dontari Poe. At least he's going to be in there and compete. And fight through stuff and be tough. He's not always going to win matchup wise, but the effort's always going to be there. The motive's going to be there, and it helps tank Lawrence out more. Jalen was better today. I know a lot of people, the low hanging fruit is to go in on Jalen about the roughing the passer to Ben Roethlisberger, but I thought that was a bad call by the refs, and if you're going to call that, then you got to call the Garrett Gilbert one on the other side. And I'm not one to just cry about officiating on here, but there were some missed calls. The Amari Cooper one in the end zone, I think that was the play that resulted in the Minkah Fitzpatrick interception. So just some frustrating things the way the whistle went. But the reason why I don't cry about the whistle, especially in situations like this, is because you could have just gone forward and tried to get more points if you're Mike McCarthy. So I place more blame there because control the controllables. Anthony Brown was playing well until he got roasted by James Washington, but it happens to the best of us. I don't know where or when Cheeto's going to come back, but curious to see how that plays out. But overall, the effort was better. The tackling was better. They were getting off the field, forcing punts, and just overall level of effort was much, much better today from the defense. They had 24 points. And, that's for what we've been giving up, especially points per game wise, at a historic pace. That is a much better effort. Let's see how the defense can build on this coming, because they to be fair to them, Philadelphia, they got turnovers too, right? They got 4 from our friend Carson Wentz. So coming out of the bye week, let's try to take some more steps forward under Mike Manolan. As he at this point, he trying to save his job, if that's even a statement you can make at this point. I want to give a shout out to Coach Fossil, because special teams was terrific yesterday. Every aspect, in my opinion. They had plays dialed up. I do need to see the brother CJ Goodwin be a little bit better athlete. Bring that ball in clean, and you can't get tackled by another brother that's laying down on the ground. You got to be a better athlete than that. You look like you couldn't jump over a phone book in that situation. Should have scored a touchdown. And the brother got called, and the other guy got called for blocking the back. Anyway, great play design, though. Cedric Wilson using people, practical there. I liked it from Coach Fossil. Kick return, Rico Dowdell, I think he's from South Carolina. I honestly didn't know that brother. I was like, who's number 34? But he was explosive on the kick return. And if Tony Pollard's going to be splitting with Zeke now and getting a lot more involved offensively, and you have somebody like that can help out on kick return and look competent, let's see him get some more opportunities as well. Tyrone Crawford was out there trying to save his paycheck and going after some kicks. Love to see it. Our punter was fine. The new punter. So overall, and it's going to take John Fossil some time, I think more so than even some of the other coaches, because our special teams unit and our culture has been so horrible and we've paid no attention to it. And I think it's hard to change that with COVID than some of the other stuff we were trying to do. So it's going to take some time to get the stink of Keith O'Quinn out of here, out of the building. But I will say John Fossil's had some gems this year of things they've dialed up and worked on. He's a very, very creative coach. I haven't liked every situation or call. Some of that might be on Coach McCarthy. I don't know. But I'm happy that John Fossil is a member of this football team on our staff. I also want to give a shout out to Zeke for playing. I think when teams start to go down, you see 2-7, you see the injuries around the league. It's really easy to say, you know what, I'm dealing with something. Let's go ahead and shut it down. It's COVID, I'm out of contention. You know, for the we're out. We're not because we're in the NFC East, but we're out of contention. And you have all these things going on. It's easy to say, you know, I'm going to shut it down. We'll let Groovy Tony get it, and our unknown number 34 Rico Dowdle get it in at running back. But he came out and gave a professional effort, and he may not play the rest. You know, when I say that, I mean like the last 2 or 3 games of the season, but he at least came out there and competed. Now Tony Pollard right now just has a little bit more burst, and I'm not really sure why. Sometimes it looks like Tony's getting better holes too. So, but he's taking advantage of his opportunities. So we'll see where we go from here during the bye. They're starting Andy Dalton. I don't agree with it, but if you're trying to organically tank, then start Andy Dalton. That's because until I see Andy Dalton play at least to the level that Garrett Gilbert played, we're going to struggle to win another game, in my opinion. Shout out to Double G. Excellent job, excellent performance. Kellen Moore, very, very good game plan considering all the circumstances that you're faced with as a play caller. And it was fun for a Sunday against a really good team in the Pittsburgh Steelers. Felt like one of the better cross-conference rivalries, honestly, going back to the 70s. And it was just fun. It was a good, fun game. Nothing more than that to take away from on my side. Curious to see how you guys feel in the comments. I know I went a little long on this video, but considering my history as a fan with Garrett Gilbert, it was only appropriate to give some of that color and backstory from my view. I appreciate you guys, and we'll be back with more videos later this week. Peace.